Oh boy. And there we go. Yay. We're live or something. Hi. How you doing? Hi. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing nothing. I just felt like streaming because I haven't done it in a little while. I can answer questions. Questions are fine. I'm literally just not doing anything. I mean, if I think of something within like an hour or so that I decide I want to do, then nice, but yeah, doing nothing, which is basically the rest of my life. Hi, how you doing? My zodiac sign is Virgo. Christian. I'm not gonna even try to butcher your last name over there. No. I'm not doing art unless I decide I get bored and I want to do something. Oh boy, noise from outside, yay. Okay guys, no, this isn't an art request stream, like, please stop. Sophia Hotling, what is, Houtling? Is that Sophia, what's your favorite ship? Ships are a thing. They are a thing. It is a, thank you, Pad Parajcha. I am bored. Thank you. I'm doing well. It's hopscotch. I'm doing pretty good. Just chilling here, streaming with some awesome people. I'm doing it solo. I haven't done a solo one in a long time. That's pretty nuts. I'm happy. I'm just chill. Why did you pick ZodiacLord for your name? Jessica Doran, I think is Doran. Just because I thought it sounded cool and I was a big astrology nerd. That's really all there is to it, honestly. Sorry, I looked down and already there's like a bunch of new things. Okay. La 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 la. Harry Potter, do your socks have holes in them? I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh my god, I'm not gonna say this right. Angushid Cucumber, which of one of your characters do you want more art of? I mean, I'm just glad I have any art of them, honestly. There's not any of them that I think, there's ones I think I need to draw more, but that's about it. But yeah, yeah, I need to draw all of them more. I do, at least. Yeah, I guess this is a Q&A stream, I guess. Kara asks, is it bad to ship Jamie x Kevin? I mean, you do you, man. You do you. I believe in you. Go for it. Oh my goodness. So many. Okay, I'll just establish this right now. If I don't read, if you ask a question and I don't read it, I apologize. It is nothing personal. It is because there is a lot for me to pay attention to. So, yeah, this chat goes fast, man. Galaxy Pink. I'm assuming Ping, whatever it is. Zodiac, I dare you to say every fandom that you're in. Off the top of my head, everyone knows Steven Universe is the one. Everyone knows Homestuck is one, I'm pretty sure. I don't really know, I mean, what's the difference between like being in a fandom and just being a fan of something? I guess Gravity Falls, I guess. Trying to like, I guess Warrior Cats would count. I guess I am still in that fandom and it keeps dragging me back. I know there's more. I just like, I'm trying to differentiate like, ooh, cool, I like that, to actual fandom. I don't know. That's just off the top of my head, I guess. Ashka Art asks, this is a good one that I might ramble on about, and I apologize if I do. Um, how did you find your art style? What inspired you to draw? And also the Newt asked like a similar thing right below it, but it was Ashka Art, I think is how you say that. Okay, so let's go with the story time. Yay, story time. Yay. So I'm sorry. Hold your questions for a second. So I personally, I've been drawing for as long as I can remember. So like, and it's weird because some of it wasn't even drawing. It was like coloring pages. Like when I was a little kid, I loved coloring pages. I'd always get like my parents or like my babysitter to like print out coloring pages for me to color. I'd always like when I was in school, I'd always like doodle on the backs of things, draw little flowers, whatever. So I've been drawing forever. So that's kind of what inspired me to draw. Just drawing. I just love to do it. So I just I've always drawn. And I don't really know, like some people have like a direct source of where they draw. I don't know where mine comes from. Mine, I guess, just comes from I like drawing, and or at least that's where it started. Nowadays, a lot of my motivation comes from a passion for characters and stories and stuff like that. And my art style is it's kind of funny. It starts out as a pretty generic story, I guess. I can actually, I think would be a more interesting story is if I described how I got into doing it online, because I do remember when I started getting like really quote unquote serious about my art was in middle school. Like in middle school was when I started like walking around with books and like sketchbooks and all this other fun stuff, you know. And like I started doing that, and I remember that I got as a present, I think I got it as a Christmas present, I want to say, either that or a birthday present. And it was like a book on how to draw dragons and fantasy creatures. And I just got obsessed with it. And I started like doodling dragons nonstop. I loved, yeah, I know, Moira, I know. But, yeah, so I started getting like really into that, and then I believe I stumbled across YouTube, and it was during the time whenever Minecraft was a big thing, which is so awkward to say, but it was when Minecraft was a big thing, so I got really into those kind of videos. And then I stumbled across speed painting, and I was introduced to speed painting because of Warriors, interestingly enough. And I found River Spirit, yay, and she is the one who motivated me to get a DeviantArt, because I really loved their speed paints. I would watch all of them like over and over again. I loved watching her speed paints, and I was like, where can I go see the actual like all the arts and stuff like that? And I was like, in her description she said I had a DA, and I'm like, what's a DA, or like what's a DeviantArt? And I ended up finding it, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And I ended up getting like, and I ended up making one. And I obviously started off doing Warrior Cats art, and I was the kind of kid who I thought I would get famous for drawing flipping Warrior Cats, and I thought I'd be like the next River Spirit or whatever. And I was like, I was a kid, you know. And I would draw like, I would draw a lot of like cats, and you could tell I was like heavily based on river spirit and all this stuff. And someone who, by the way, guys, I appreciate the questions, but I can't answer them. I'm telling a story, so just so you know. But I ended up where was I? Oh yeah, I was okay. What was really funny is that there was one person whom I think if they had not reached out to me, I don't think I would be where I was today, because there was a person, I can't remember their name, and they like deactivated a long time ago, which made me sad and whatnot. And I I saw like they offered for me to join this Warrior Cats roleplay group fan thing, and I was like, oh, this is super cool, and I was like, and I was very interested, and so I got into that, and I got really passionate, and then I decided I wanted to make my own, and I ended up making my own Warriors roleplay group. I somehow figured out how to make groups and all this other kind of stuff, and yes, Char does art YouTube. Yeah, the messages are always like a second or two back. That's always been the case. Um, but anyway, so I made a Warriors roleplay group, and I ended up meeting a lot of the friends that I still know and I'm still in contact with. Or we're not really as passionate as of friends nowadays, but we still like roleplay and whatever. But I made that group, and I met a lot of awesome people, and that really like got me on a path. And my God, one day for some kind of milestone video, I will be making, I assure you, I'm going to make a video where I basically go back and look at all my early DA art, because my God, is it a show. It is a wild ride, my guys. It is, whoo. And my cats actually, they got to a point where they didn't look half bad. They looked all right, like decent. Then I started doing humans for some reason. And my God, was that a train wreck. My humans, my humans were, yeah, more knows. They were, they were horrifying. I didn't have any grasp on anatomy, and I was a big, like a big weeboo at the time. I was super into anime and crap, and so all my like artwork was super anime, whatever, and it was, oh, it was bad. And I still distinctly remember the first like human character I ever had, which existed, and she was a total self-insert, and she was back whenever I was a girl, and I was like, or I was identified as a girl, and I was like, she's she's been changed and stuff now, because I am of an oath to improve my characters, even if they seem beyond saving. But my God, were my humans bad. And when I was younger, very I was one of those people who complained when they didn't get a bunch of favorites and a bunch of watchers, and like I was so obsessed with like, I have 30 watchers and I only get like one comment on every other picture. I was that kind of guy, and my God, was I'm sure like all my friends found it annoying. I don't know how they put up with it. But Neon Cat. Some of my old-ish art is still on DeviantArt. You just have to go do some searching. But like my old art, like the stuff that is like hurts me to look at, that stuff is in storage because I was I was so ashamed of it. But you know, so yeah, and I started doing humans, and I was so upset because I'm like, why isn't anyone paying attention to my human artwork? This is outrageous. Why is everyone only obsessed with my cats or whatever? And I made like 50,000 journals of like me like doing a bunch of like, just, oh my goodness, I made a bunch of journals of me like complaining, and it was right. And then down the line, I don't even know where, I suddenly had like some kind of like epiphany or something that I didn't care, and that I should just do art because I enjoyed it. And I want to say, I don't know when that happened. I want to say it started around sometime when I joined a certain art class or something. And by the way, I know a lot of you asking like, how'd you do your art style. I'm gonna get to like how my art style came to be what it is. Um, but I started not caring and drawing just because I wanted to, and I would draw like very consistently, and I just started not to care. And I was so excited when I got a new watcher, and I feel so bad because for the longest time, I used to like personally thank everyone who watched me, whether it was like did it just to get attention or whatever. I would thank everyone who watched me, and I've gotten to the point where like there's so many people who do it. Like, and this isn't me bragging. This is honestly like, this is me being all like the price of fame kind of thing. But it got to a point where there was like, I procrastinated on it so much, and I couldn't consistently thank everyone who watched me, and I felt so because I'd get like 30 watchers in a week or whatever, and I couldn't like, I couldn't, thank them, and I started to feel bad because I want to thank everyone, and I wish I could thank everyone like personally, but anyway, that's a side note, but yeah, so I don't exactly remember when it was, but I got there was at some point I want to say it was whenever Luniverse was a thing because Luniverse is a really big part of why any of my art ever happened. And if anyone doesn't know what Luniverse is, it's my own story, by the way. And they came about because I found out what adoptables were, and I started like adopting. I want to say that Luna was actually like the first adoptable I ever got. Actually, I think Luna was my first ever adoptable. Which is pretty cool. Hang on. Ice Storm. Gotta go. Wanted to say how much you absolutely love your art and strive to have much skill as my art as you do. You're a huge reason I still draw, and just wanted to thank you. Sorry it's long. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, and goodbye. I hope you have fun. Um, but yeah, so I had all my Luniverse characters, and I have to go with I have to do the Luniverse story. So I'm sorry if anyone doesn't know what it is. It's my own story, but I have to do the Luniverse story because it's why I started getting like really into like my art style and fixing it up and things like that. Because I got into adoptables and I started buying a lot of different adoptables, and I still remember the distinct story of like how everyone came to be. Luna was the first adoptable I think I ever bought. Maybe I bought something before her, but I think she was the first one. Um, and then flipping Jackson, he was an adoptable I found. The person was given away for very cheap because they were leftovers, and I was like, cool, that's cool. But it's funny because I think Jackson's design originally was meant to be a female design, and I changed it to be a male because I wanted more male characters. And then Infinity was like an old design that like one night I just woke up and I was like, holy crap, I have this design from an art thing I did a long time ago, which is a long story. And I could use that in this story. And so I ended up digging that old thing out and I found that. Vanessa was a adoptable I made, and I was gonna sell her, and I got so attached to her I didn't sell her, and thank God I didn't because she's one of my favorite characters, even though she's an edgelord. Um, but yeah, and then I know that Chrome I bought, and it took me a long time till I actually properly owned him because it took me so long to do the payment art. And when I got him, then I made Virus, and he was based off of Chrome. So the Virus is a weird like half adoptable thing. And then uh, Felicity, Sphinx, and Xavier are actually interesting because I got all three of those from the same person from a gotcha thing. Um, so that was kind of cool. And then there was one that used to be a main character, but I changed that at some point. It's like there was one that used to be adoptable and I got, and then I changed him to an antagonist. And then there's the newest main character, quote unquote. He was made by me, like entirely by me. But anyway, so yeah. Anyway, sorry I rambled there. But Luniverse started out back when I was a lot worse at art, and I was a lot more. I was still learning, and it was back when I was a bit worse at making characters. Luniverse before, most of the characters were really crap. In fact, if I compare um, uh, Haley Crump, I'd argue that Felicity gets plenty of love. It's Jackson who gets no love. I just gotta say that. Anyway, um, but anyway, so Luniverse. It's funny because if you compare a lot of the Luniverse characters back then to what they are now, a lot of them back then were either super flat or have completely changed their personalities. I think the biggest contender of that would actually be Zero, who had such a big change that he's gone from being a protagonist to an antagonist. Um, but anyway, but since I haven't talked about it, I'm trying to think of one I have actually talked about that I could use as an example. I don't know, because Jackson, Luna, Infinity, and Vanessa haven't actually changed as much, except Infinity's a lot less like Felicity now. But I don't know. Oh boy, we're gonna talk about Ludiverse again in this stream. I can feel it already. But anyway, so at some point, I started really getting into studying speed paints and studying other people's art to try and improve because I started really not liking my art and I started getting into comparison thing and I was getting into that phase that all other artists get to where they hate their art with a burning passion, but I'd argue I handled it differently because I wasn't very open about it. And honestly, I feel weird sometimes because I see so many artists who like go through regular phases of like hating how their art looks and stuff like that, and then meanwhile I'm like I have pride in like a lot of my art and whatever. And what is Luniverse? Sorry if this is a trigger warning. It's not a trigger warning. It's my own story. I don't blame you for not knowing what it is, honestly. But anyway, so I started getting into really like looking into okay, how can I improve my art? I want to change it. So the first thing I did was I got out of having an anime esque style at some point because I decided like I started watching things and I was thinking, I need something more unique than anime. I just sort of thought like I want something more unique and I'd even oh hang on one moment please dang it okay hang on I apologize. Important business phone call. It's fine. But anyway, so where was I? Okay, I started back on the story. I guess I started looking really into like certain people I followed on like uh my speed paints, like in people I followed for speed paints and stuff like that. And I believe I can't remember their names. I know one of them. I think their name was Wilt King or something like that. And then the other one I can't remember. They don't even like post on like speed paints anymore, ever not like again ever again. Um, but they were someone who, honestly, in my own opinion, I think they didn't really have the greatest relationship with their fans. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I started like studying things because I wanted to get out of doing like an anime style, and I want to start like get improving my own art and like oh, I should probably get rid of the OBS thing. I totally forgot that was there. But there were two people, and they both did something slightly different. Both Wilt King and this other person did like a weird like segmented hair kind of thing sometimes, where it was like sectioned off, and like some part of me like really loved the look out of it, so I started doing it. And I started looking at other people for eyes and things like that. And also a lot of my paintings got a lot of heavy inspiration from Kiwi Bird. I'm sure a lot of people know who Kiwi Bird is, and I love Kiwi Bird. Kiwi Bird's art is awesome, yay. But so I started looking into that, and I started applying these things to my style. And then like, oh yeah, and then Walking Melons AAA, that's the person who introduced me to the brush I use. In fact, everyone asks what brush I use, and if you want to know, there's some art tutorial somewhere that a Walking Melons AAA did, where they basically show the brushes that the brush that I use for my lines and stuff like that. So yeah, that's if anyone wants to know my secrets, there you go. But I started like applying all these different things, and then Steven Universe came about, and I really liked how they did a lot of their anatomy and stuff like that. So I started drawing kind of like in a lot of that, and you can definitely see that in like my current art. You can definitely see the Steven Universe esqueness of it all. I actually use a lot of Steven Universe to give me ideas on like anatomy. And fun fact that I want to say, I find it really funny that everyone always like brings up to any artist who just draws like relatively similar body types. Everyone always is just like, you should do like varying body types and stuff like that. You should do like why are all your characters have the same body types or whatever? And I don't know. It kind of bugs me because I can get the idea of like same face syndrome where everybody looks like a clone of one another with different hairs and eye colors. I get that, and it irritates me as much too. But like, doing different body types is hard, man. Like, I've done it, and I still to this day am like trying different things. And like, just recently I made a character on my DA for a group thing that he's like, because I realized I like never draw any people with beards. I never do that, so I designed a character to do that. And it took me way too long to figure out how to do like the beard and stuff like that, you know. So I don't know, it's a ride. But I started taking all these different things and applying them, trying to draw like other people, seeing what I liked, what I didn't like, taking bits and pieces and basically just applying them to my art, which is usually a really good way to get an idea of like to find your art style. And like, note to self, you gotta learn like basics of art and stuff like that before you can ever find a good art style. And it actually ticks me off a lot that there's like people out there who will express, like, someone gives them criticism, like, I think the heads on your characters are too big, I think the arms look a bit too long, and they'll just say, oh, well, that's just my art style. Yeah, art styles can be criticized too. I just want you to know that, you know. Oh, that's another thing. Sapphire Blue. It killed me to draw male characters. I don't understand why there's like part of me understands it. For some reason, I don't. I feel like I feel so weird. I'm like the only person. I'm like, well, not the only person, but like one of the few people in my friend group that like draws dudes like consistently, and I don't know why. I have a pretty relatively equal amount of male and female characters. I guess I would say I probably have more female characters than males, but probably by only a small amount. Um, but like, I don't know. Males is a weird thing because like, that's a tough. Moira, you can mail. You do mail. I promise you. You mail. You can mail pretty well, man. You do better mails. You do more realistic mails than me. That's for sure. But it's just it's strange. Like, I don't know. I wish more people would try and draw like more males. And that sounds like so weird, but and it's hard. Like I draw guys, and it is hard to like draw guys without making them all look exactly the same, and it's hard to draw like manly guys, which is why I think there's like a very overabundance of femboys, which is a totally other topic all in itself. But anyway, um, I think I just it would be kind of fun to see people experiment more, and like things are going to be hard in art, but I promise you I do it like, and yeah, that's the thing too. Annie Sue's there are people who like drawing guys comes super naturally. There's people who like only ever draw guys. There's people who only ever draw girls. There's people who like have a hard time drawing one or the other. There's people who like it comes naturally. And it's funny, I think, too, because it's so hard to like I think make more defined different body types for guys too. I think just from my experiences of doing it, because it almost feels like there's only ever three. There's like or like four, I guess. Like there's like lanky, short, then broad, and then there's like average, and then I guess you could say quote unquote femboy, whatever. But like I don't know, it's strange. I don't know. I find it interesting because like I used to be kind of the same way. Like a lot of my guys way back when, I couldn't make them not look like women with wigs, like or whatever, and it's like I don't know. And then now I've started experimenting more. And here's the thing, to anybody who wants to be an artist out there, if something's hard, that should be more incentive for you to try and do it. And that's just my advice, just something I've learned. Like, if you ever want to, like, get better at art, then you need to find what you can't draw and draw it. Like, and it's gonna be hard, and it's probably not gonna look very good the first time you do it. And honestly, it's probably gonna take you a long time to do something that seems relatively simple. But that's just how art is. I mean, if I had never, if I had never figured out, like, stepped out of my comfort zone with some things, I wouldn't be doing some of the stuff I do now, you know? It's just that's like you can draw like stay in your comfort zone and draw the same thing over and over and over again, and yeah, you'll get good at it. You'll get good at drawing something the more you do it, but eventually you're just going to be drawing the same thing over and over again, and then there'll be less room for creativity in a sense, because you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. So you don't have to, now that doesn't mean to say that you have to like immediately jump right into the water and like without even testing it first, like immediately go from drawing nothing but women to like the manliest man to ever man, like you can take baby steps, but I just to make like just experiment. Like if you find something that's hard, like for example, if you find drawing males is hard, then find ways to do it. I can even like help you out. I know with like guys, one thing for example is that their hips are usually about the same size as their waist. Okay, I there's very many people who always give men these very sassy hips, and it kind of bugs me a little bit because like biological men do not have very sassy hips, and the ones that do, their anatomy is changed to compensate. But anyway, so like, yeah, men typically have broader shoulders that are broader than their hips and waist, and their hips are usually around the same size as their waist. Typically, the lines like on their cheekbones are typically more angular. Women's are typically more softer. Their noses are typically a lot more like predominant usually, and yeah, that's kind of like, and that's not to say there aren't guys with like a nice, like some truth telling hips and a nice butt, but um, like it's just, it's an art. It takes practice. Um, so yeah, that's my little ramble there. But yeah, that's kind of how my art style came to be. It was just a lot of me finding what do I like, what do I, what. Anyway, Tara can't. I don't think I'm gonna be streaming for too much longer. I gotta get up early tomorrow. So, how do you draw ambiguous characters and make them look ambiguous? I mean, it depends. There's a lot of ways to do it, and I don't know. It depends. Like, I know there is actually a character that I haven't ever posted online, whom I drew them and I unintentionally made them really ambiguous looking. Like, they look like they could be a guy or a girl, and, it's, you gotta find, like, a balance. I don't know. I can't really help you there. Would you make a video of you revamping an OC you've made that makes you cringe, or a story plot? P.S. Caught up in the universe, and I need more of it. So good, thank you. And I actually have. There is a story. The first story I ever made, which honestly, in hindsight, was not very bad for a 13, 14-year-old kid. Which had a lot of bad characters, and ironically, the best character was the edgiest. And it was the first story I ever made, which was featuring myself in story. There was like a lot of romances that were super forced, that like in hindsight that I've totally removed. There's characters whose genders have changed, and it wasn't a terrible story, but I've actually been changing it. And Luniverse was a terrible story. Luniverse, when it first existed, before it was even called Luniverse, it wasn't even a story. It was me trying to make up an excuse that, like, oh yeah, these guys are totally roommates. Ooh, how quirky. But then down the road, I look back and I'm like, wow, that's so stupid. And I thought, you know what? I don't want to abandon this. I don't want to abandon these characters that I've actually posted, because they're like some of the story related characters that I've actually posted. And I was like, you know what? I want to change and I want to fix this. And Luniverse, I started changing things, changing stories, and Luniverse has become like my biggest project in a sense. It's kind of like the project where both I do everything you shouldn't do in writing and I try to make it work, and I try to make all these things work without changing it entirely, which is probably the biggest thing, because I could have easily changed them all up. I could have easily said, oh yeah, they're roommates, but they're all actually like humans, or maybe they're all humans and they end up having special powers. But I decided, no, I want to turn this, how can I make this work? How can I make a witch and an alien god and androids and stuff live all together and kind of make some kind of comprehensible sense? And that's kind of what I did, in a sense, But yeah, like, the first story I ever made was called, at the time, War of the Sky. And I think I changed the name of it, and I can't remember what it is. Actually, you know what? Hang on, I'm gonna look and see if I have it written down somewhere. There was an old story. It might still be called War of the Skies. No, it's called War of Immortals now. But yeah, man, it was a bad one. It featured the main character being a self-insert, which was as flat could be. like, I think the only personality trait she had was that she was a leader. And I think that was about it. Or whatever, and she was like level-headed, I guess. And it's funny because her twin sister was like the most interesting character in that entire story. Well, I stand corrected. The main character's son was also rather interesting, and he probably had one of the only actual like romances with chemistry in it. I don't know, but yeah. So I've been changing it a lot. Like the main character is now a dude. His brother is now a dude, his twin brother. Their sister, who originally was just dead and gone, is actually like also there too. And their younger sister used to be a brother. And the younger sister is, interestingly enough, supposed to pay homage to the main character's original form. It's been changed, and I'm like slowly changing it and all that other kind of stuff. It still has I lied. The best character that hasn't been changed in War of Immortals / War of the Sky was the antagonist, who was bomb. And she's proof that I've had a consistent theme with how I do antagonists. It's pretty crazy. She was like, she hasn't changed, and I don't think I'm gonna change her very much if I ever were to like fully go into it and change everything. But yeah. So that's done my ramble. I'm gonna see if there's any other questions I can answer really quickly because I'm probably gonna leave at like 9:45 at the latest. I'd answer that, Turquoise Doodles. I'd answer how I feel about Lars, but then I'd go on another tangent. All I can say is, thank goodness he's finally been redeemed and stayed that way. My boy's grown up. Anyway. Jeez. Tara Kent. Well, what inspired you to give Chrome a quote-unquote brother, aka virus? Younger self being edgy, believe it or not. I wanted to make... Because originally... Chrome was actually going to be a lot more of a good guy, and Virus was going to be a lot more edgy. And I wanted to make Virus like the quote-unquote evil version of Chrome originally. And then I decided to change it, and I thought I'd do something funny where it's like, oh yeah, Chrome's the edgy one, and Virus is actually the not-so-edgy one. And I don't know. It's fun. But yeah. Yeah. So. Sorry, I zoned out there for a minute. Jeez. Okay. What do we have? Sozi-chan. How do you come up with poses for your characters? I wish I knew. I just kind of evaluate their personality and think about what kind of pose they have. Idol poses are the hardest, believe it or not, because a lot of my idol poses look like exactly the same. It's a mess. I don't even know. Ooh, wait, hang on. How villainy from a Tasty Boy. Oh goodness, only people from Deviant are gonna understand. How villainy from a scale of wow, they're kind of annoying, to it's the big bad guy, you guys. Our Captain Marine and and his big buff Jaspers. I'd say we have our own motives that contradict yours, and that's why we're villains. I don't know. I don't know. That's spoilers. I don't know, but yeah. I don't know. Oh, who's better, Chrome or Virus? Wahaha, you must choose between your children. Insert evil voice here. Story-wise, I couldn't pick between them because how dare I pick between my twin children? But like in a real life thing, I would definitely like Virus more. I think everyone would, and just in general thing. I mean, Chrome is kind of made to be a character that if you met him in real life, you would not like him at all. Anyway. The anime twins. Yes. They are indeed the anime twins. The proud anime twins. Cora Kern, who are your idols? Jeez, I'm just gonna have to name drop like a bunch of big creators. River Spirit's always probably gonna be an idol of mine. Just because she's kind of the one that sort of pushed me onto this path in general. Um, Kiwi Bird's a big one. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? You see, there's also a lot, so it's kind of hard. God dang it. Next question. I don't know. Hang on. I'm sorry, I'm like reading everything. I hate anime, but I'm fine with calling Chrome and Virus the anime twins. Well, I'm glad. Oh man, it's my favorite joke. When I came up with it, it made me laugh, and that's all I think that matters. I Poppy, who's your Universe waifu? I don't know. God. La, 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 la. No clue. Like, goodness. I mean, they're all my kids. How can I pick between them? Thoughts on Pisceans? Is that people who are Pisces? Is that what that is? Lonely Cabbage Maskey. Will you love me? I love all of you. How can I not? I love all of you. Moi. Shadow the Greninja. Who is the better character, Navy or Aquamarine? Well, we've only really seen as much of them, like the same amount of them, and I don't know. It's hard for me to pick between that. I guess story-wise, I would guess I'd say Navy, just because I like what they did with her little plot twist kind of thing. I think they did it very well. I'm usually the one who can predict kind of stuff like that, so it then kind of caught me off guard with it, you know? Until they were like on the ship or whatever. I'm like, oh, they're gonna betray them. I don't know. Yeah. Tara Kent, I have a headcanon that Virus's voice will at times glitch out in a sense, like that one kid from Wreck-It Ralph, and that when Infinity goes out in public, she gets pushed around in a wheelchair. Oh my god, that's terrible. But that last one is terrible. But I could see it happen honestly, and I like the idea of Virus's voice being glitchy. That might be kind of cool. That might be interesting. I mean, he does already. His vision glitches out. That's actually a thing that happens. I'll talk about that whenever I do him, but like he actually like because they're androids, like their vision obviously looks like they're looking into a screen or whatever, and his is all glitchy and doesn't work right, and it's stuff happens stuff. So yeah. Will you ever do a 2010 5 style challenge? I'm currently doing one and I picked you for one out of the 20. Oh, well, thank you. I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. Uh, I'll see you one day. I don't know. Maybe. Thoughts on OCX canon ships? Thoughts on canon slash OCX canon ships. Honestly, let me be real with you guys. I think you can do whatever you want with your characters. If you want to ship them with a canon character, I personally don't care. I will have my own like opinions on it, but like characters are made to have fun with. So if you're having fun, just do it, you know? I mean, there's a difference between like shipping your character with a canon character and then like acting like it's the best thing in the world, or like you know, or throwing a fit when someone else does it. You know, there's depends, but like, you know, that Yeah, you can, I think people can just do whatever they want with their characters. It's their characters, man. Avery Brandenburg, will you draw the Inkling girl from Splatoon? I mean, the thing is, I don't play Splatoon. I don't really keep up with that, so no question mark. Don't uh Animal Productions. Don't be like, if people are gonna think you're cringy, there's nothing gonna stop that, but you should just do things because you enjoy it. Now, obviously, if they're giving you like uh criticism, um, then like obviously just don't throw a fit. Just say like, well, thanks, and just take it with a grain of salt, whatever. But like, don't be ashamed for just enjoying what you do. If you're having fun and you're not being mean or harming anyone, then there's no harm in it. Yeah, exactly. Ship what you want. It's like, I'll see it all the time. I'll see these people who will like throw absolute fits when they find people who ship their characters with canon characters. Now, do I think there are good ways and bad ways to do it? Yes, there are good ways and bad ways to do it. But at the end of the day, if you're flipping out because someone dares ship a character with a canon character, then like honestly, I think you're worse than the person doing it. Cause like, well, not worse, but I think you're the one taking it too seriously. Like, jeez. Doodle Dork, what are the Luniverse zodiac signs? If you don't know, can Vanessa be a Pisces? Because my name's Vanessa and I'm a Pisces. I kind of know. I'd have to go check. Vanessa, I don't think Vanessa would make a very good Pisces, honestly. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know, she might. um, Hang on, I'm gonna go see. I think I have her birthday in a reference. So I'm gonna go, let's go on adventure. I'm gonna go see what Vanessa's zodiac sign is. Oh boy. Um, let's go on an adventure to find out what Vanessa's zodiac sign is. Ref is way back in a thing of just a bunch of doodles everywhere. Why don't I ever stop doodling? My god. It's around here somewhere. There it is. Okay. Birthday is... Okay. Vanessa is a Gemini. Just so we know. She is a Gemini. Yeah, Vanessa, I considered her making a Scorpio intentionally just to add to the whole, like, edginess part of it. Would you ever start doing art challenges? Something like the draw this again or 30. I've done the draw this again thing a few times. There's even ones of that on YouTube. I've redrawn 2 pictures that are up on YouTube, I think. I've I want to do certain art challenges, but I've kind of been refraining from it. Um, because there's other things I really need to get done. I've just been procrastinating way too long, and I need to stop acknowledging it and start doing it. But it's fine. Now I'm just like casually looking at Dia on my phone. It's fine. Anyway. Waffle or pancakes? Pick one. I pick pancakes. Zodiac, do you happen to have an opinion on self-inserts at all? I mean, again, I don't see the harm in it. Now, there's good self inserts and bad self inserts, but like, again, if you enjoy what you do, then whatever. And honestly, you're probably gonna have characters based on yourself. In fact, there are characters in certain stories I have that are very much referenced by people I know in real life, you know? Um, so yeah, that's my thing. I just think do what you want to do. Another question of me, do you have any gay slash lesbians OCs? I think the real question is, do I have any straight OCs? Which is, yes, by the way, I do have straight OCs, but just saying. A lot of my characters, though, strangely, are like bisexual or pansexual. It's strange. You can send me fan art on DA or Instagram or Twitter. One of those ones. Stop it, ghosts. Anyway. I swear, the ghost in this media room. They're shy ghosts, but it's fine. 2 minutes. Yay. I'm gonna go in 2 minutes. I'm already past my mark, but it's fine. What am I most active on? DeviantArt. For sure. You know what? I'm gonna like at some point I'm 100% gonna like personify these ghosts slash ghost that is haunting me or my house. I'm gonna totally draw a picture of what I think they'd look like. Iris Raccoon, do you have any asexual characters? Luna is Aeroace. Just thought I'd throw that out there. And actually, there are other Lunaverse characters that are asexual, but you know. When will you accept art trade stuff? No clue. I like talking about Lunaverse. It's so bizarre to know, like, so many people like hearing about it. Honestly. Who are the Gem, Sunstone, and Moonstone bodyguards of? They were the bodyguards for White Diamond. Till the left. Do you ship anyone from Ruby? If so, who? I don't watch Ruby, sadly. So, yeah. Do you have any characters of mass omnipresence or some other godly power? I mean, does Vanessa just literally knowing everything that happens in Lunaverse like count? Which sounds like really, which sounds like I'm making a parody of my own story, but like, she does though, and there's a whole reason for it. But like, Vanessa isn't like, doesn't have like godly powers of knowing everything at all times or whatever, but she knows way more than she should. But anyway. Okay, oh, what are your thoughts on giving your characters completely useless powers? I mean, unless you give them like an overabundance of them, you know. I don't see what really. I mean, in a sense, if we're thinking about it, like, any power is useful in some regard. But anyway, I think I'm going to end the stream here because I got to get up early tomorrow. So, thank you all for coming. It was a ball. I enjoyed talking with you all once again. And I hope you will join me whenever I stream again. Hopefully I can actually stream sometime kind of soon-ish. I have to get early up like all week, so I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you around. Thanks for joining this nonsense stream. Bye.